Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Derwent. We've just found Mistral with Rupert Henry and his co-skipper Corentin Dujouet for this year. They are the double-handed leaders on line honours, but also IRC at the moment, and they will be 18th to cross the line on line honours. Fantastic work by this Lombard 34. Rupert Henry did the same last year. He actually won IRC Division 4 last year and double-handed line honours and IRC. Not sure how he's going in Div 4 at the moment. I will have a look as we make our way up the Derwent. We actually have Dujouet. I'm not sure whether, I think he's filming to pop on his socials. Looks like he's doing an Instagram story. They've just swapped over helming. Rupert took over just before we went live, and I remember a very similar scene last year. You might remember the rainbow when they were finishing. There's a little rainbow at the bottom of Mount Wellington. Almost the same wind direction. A little bit breezier now though. We're copping a little bit of spray off their leeward wake. They've got probably two or three more tacks in this. Still in that westerly quadrant inside the 2 nautical mile marker. Gorgeous little boat. And last year, Rupert was sailing with Jack Boutel, an Australian who does a lot of sailing in France. This year, with Dujouet, who won the Class 40 championship in 2022, so he's done a lot of ocean racing. Rupert Henry was the former owner of the JV62 Whisper, formerly known as Chinese Whisper, which we brought in yesterday, which he sailed in the Melbourne to Osaka race and still holds the record for. He did that with Greg O'Shea. Looks like they're bringing that headsail down as well, just to make sure they minimise any kind of windage. They sail out of New South Wales in the CYCA. Pierre Gall designed this Lombard 34, who's the original builder, and he raced it in the Rolex Sydney Hobart in 2019, and that's when Rupert Henry went, you know what, I'm going to buy that. And Whisper moved on to be with David Griffith. Just going to check the overall results. Trackaholics Anonymous, IRC. Let's go to Div 4. And yes, Mistral is also leading in Div 4 over Midnight Rambler. It's Saltus, another favourite of ours. We're almost level with the casino, just for those who are interested. Down comes that reacher. Still southerly when they are coming in the mouth of the Derwent. And then they're coming around the corner into a transition zone, and we've been in the westerly quadrant all day in here essentially. Changed over after the finish of Whisper, I just mentioned, and No Limit. That's when it started to go into the west. We saw Caro and then Smuggler tacking up the Derwent, and it stayed in that zone all day. That's almost 24 hours now that we've seen this similar breeze direction, which is fluctuating a lot off the land. We've got both sailors up on the bow right now. How's that happening? Goodness gracious me. Well, when you sail as a double-handed team, you're allowed to use an auto helm. So they've actually engaged their third crew member, which is the auto helm, while they move around and just clean everything up there. Now, very keen double-handed teams, they actually will try not to use the auto helm. It has proven to be faster to steer the boat. There you can see Rupert as quickly as he can switching that auto helm off and getting back on the tiller. So it's literally used as an assistant either at night time or when something else needs to be done. It's literally like passing the tiller to the automatic third crew member. Most people have names for their third crew member, which is quite entertaining as well. We spent a bit of time with Gizmo, Meg Niblett and Wendy Tuck before the start. Theirs was, what's the name? B&G, and they named it the Bee Gees guy. What's his name? Brian Gibbs, that's it. Brian Gibbs was the name of Gizmo's autopilot. And they had to head to Eden, unfortunately. Just let them extend a little bit. I won't tell Rupert that he's dragging a sheet right now. Gosh, it's awfully close to going around that rudder too. Mind you, they're not going to need their Code Zero or Reacher sheets for the rest of this race, that is for sure. Here we go for attack. One on the tiller, one on the jib, one on the trav. There we go. Beautiful tack indeed. Oh, look at the light. You can see how they're just working the boat. You've got to be incredibly proactive when you're sailing double-handed. It's not unlike dinghy sailing. I think that's why so many people are drawn to it. Keeping really busy and making sure that you're managing all the aspects. Just going for a little luff there to tighten up the jib halyard. Super smooth. They do this right, they could maybe do one more tack and finish on port. We're about a nautical mile from the line now. They're on a massive right-hander here. Just look at this. Gorgeous heading. Built for ocean racing, this thing. Locked in. Rupert's son is a very talented dinghy sailor as well, Otto. One of the media boats just going past their bow now. We are pointing directly at the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. Having a serious deja vu from last year. See if we can pop, there's just no clouds in the sky is the only difference. If we popped a rainbow out, it'd be so similar. Although they did have a reacher up, I remember, at one point. I think it swung around to the southeast as they got to this point and they unfurled a reacher. Big gust coming down now. Looks like a header. And then a lift at the end. There we go. There is no breeze on the left-hand side of this patch. Wondering if this westerly's starting to burn itself out. It has been blowing, as I mentioned, for 24 hours, so we haven't had a shutdown today. You may have heard people, if you're not a Rolex Sydney Hobart aficionado, you may not know the term, but if you are, we talk about shutdown, and really we haven't had that. In in the last 24 hours at least. Been constant breeze. There was a shutdown off the off the southeast coast of Tassie, but the rivers had wind the whole time. I never do, Gonzala. Lovely to see you tuning in, Gonzalo. I mean, I could never not do the first double-hander. I remember leaving a function the first year we had double-handers finishing to make sure we could bring Ocean Crusaders in, who won online honours for the first year we had double-handers. And now I've been with Rupert for the past little while after that. Rupert won the first IRC double-handers with Greg O'Shea. We also sailed with on Whisper, so this will be his third time winning on IRC in the double-handers out of 3 years that it's been in the Rolex Sydney Hobart, and he's done it each time with a different co-skipper. Greg O'Shea the first year, then Jack Buttel, and now Dejouet. Good puff now coming on this left-hand shore. Absolutely no breeze along the shore. Here we go, header coming. They've picked this perfectly. Lovely to have you all tuning in. We've literally been on the Derwent since 6 a.m. this morning, so we've passed our 12-hour mark. We did just have one short stop at the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania to eat a sandwich and some pasta that my mum and dad brought down for the team to make sure we ate. So thank you for the recharge, shore crew. How good, shore crew? We're not on lay for the finish yet, so I'm wondering how much further in he'll go, whether we've got a few more tacks in this or whether he'll take it all the way in. 2, 1, big buff on, looks like a header. Yep, she's a header. See if they think about it. We might just slow down a little bit and make sure they've got the option. Looks like they're moving around. Here we go. Yep. Thinking about attack. Going for the Traveller. Ooh, or not. Maybe not. Just crank the Traveller a little bit. We're going for a backstay. I think maybe they're just cleating something to leeward. It's hard to tell when you don't know the boat setup so much, and having spent a little bit of time, as I mentioned, on Gizmo, there's so many cleats that they have that other boats don't have, just so that if you need to, you can just cleat anything anywhere you get to. Like even just cleats along the deck, so that if you need to cleat a sheet, so that you've got that extra set of hands. It's pretty interesting why deckwear is so important. Tacking now. Doesn't want to sail more than he has to, that's for certain. We're on a really tight lay right now. May not make it. I'm thinking we've got at least one more tack in this. Beautiful sailing. Looks like this main, it's got quite a few crinkles in the bottom two panels, which indicates to me that they've had up to 2 or 3 reefs in while this race has been happening. You can see the wear point where they've actually pulled the halyard quite tight below that second stripe. Shows you how windy it might have gotten at one point. Reef often, reef early, especially in double-handed. They do take it as a as soon as they need to. You got to be proactive. A lot easier to shake a reef out than to put one in, that's for certain. Definitely not laying. Little righty coming. Could get a little bit dodgy in here. I'll just take it as it comes. We're down about 10 degrees on when they tacked. And there is Constitution Dock just over the top of Rupert Henry's head. Coming in hot. And there is the finish mark just off their bow. You might be able to see it in the distance. Little lull here and then a right hand pressure. They might get a little lift first. Little one just inside of them. Here we go. Oh, no, she wants to go right. You see Dujouet there just looking out to make sure that they don't go past this lay line. Finish line is directly through, or the left-hand side, pin end side is directly through the cruise now. I can see the starting box there. And the pin is through the starboard end, or the other pin is through their mast. They'll go a little bit further. Big lift now. There's a little patch of water just in front of them. Getting ready for attack. Yeah, that looks like alrighty to me. Getting ready with the Traveller. Seems to be the pattern, and then they go. Having a little think about it. Definitely a dinghy sailor. Very nimble. Definitely in a lift at the moment, but they're in pressure. Like, the pressure's starting to dissipate and become even more patchy. It was 18 knots solidly for the finish beforehand. Oof. Not quite on lay. One more tack to go, unless they get a right-hand shift. Very tricky. At least the tide's not running as hard as it was a few hours ago. Yikes. The rib was going backwards at 2 knots. They will absolutely smack this ley line, I think. There's a good little lefty coming down through the middle of the start line now. We'll just make sure we stay back to give them their ability to complete this race. 18th in line honours. Little 34-footer. JPK 1180 came in just before them in 16th position, with Denali in 17th. A TP52 with no boom. You do have the opportunity to watch that back if you would like to. Of course, all of our live streams are on Facebook and YouTube. All of our highlights packages are also going up on Facebook and YouTube when they're available. Lots of other images and reels on Instagram. But you can check out the full blog at www.sailorgirlhq.com. There's a Rolex Sydney Hobart blog there with everything in order, in case you want to relive this race, which has definitely had its ups and downs. Last tack for Rupert Henry. with his co-skipper, Corentin Dujouet. They are absolutely going to nail the starboard end of this line, and they will move into clubhouse leader position in IRC Division 4. Double-handed, he's about to start his stopwatch as well. IRC double-handed, luffing up to cross the line as soon as he can. And IRC Division 4, IRC double-handed, big hugs on board. And line honours in the double-handed division. Great work there. A big fist bump from Rupert Henry. 3 years back-to-back potentially on IRC in the double-handed division. No one else has won the IRC double-handed division since its inception 3 editions ago. It's definitely stamped his name on it. I'll go down and drop their sails now. Good job. Beautiful sailing. Boat looks good too. Now we had Ecstasy finish just before. She had a broken bowsprit. Denali had a broken boom, as I mentioned. Earlier today when Ocean Crusaders finished, they said that it might have looked good upstairs, but downstairs was a wreck. Big puff here. Rupert on the radio just to confirm their finish time. Checked his finish time and turned his stopwatch on it. What a great race by Rupert Henry and Corentin Dujouet. Down will come the jib. They'll probably pop the autopilot on for a tick here. Oh look, he's got the halyard. Tiller and halyard. This is double-headed sailing. Engine going on. Nice one. We'll definitely do an over the rail interview, yeah, Joshy? 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 Cool. Sorry guys, just confirming. Joshy's taking his headset off. He's sick of listening to us talk today. You might be sick of us too. Autopilot engaged. Look at that, a naked boat. Who's got the wheel? Look at the tiller, just hanging out. I can try. I'm not sure if I've got a GoPro on this side is the only thing. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry guys, just talking a few operational things so that we can set this up. Oh, they got a GoPro on the back. Woohoo! Mainsail's next. Then we'll see if we can have... I'm good! How are you, Rupert? Yeah, no worries. We'll just hang tight. He said he's just got to get the mainsail under control, and that's totally fair enough with 2 on board. For those who have just joined us, Mistral, Lombard 34 rather, just in front of us. Rupert Henry up in the pit. And his co-skipper, Corentin Dujouet, just making his way up. They're going to get this main down and then we'll have a little chat to them. Rupert Henry has won 3 consecutive double-handed line honours titles. The only time that we've had double-handers in the Rolex Sydney Hobart. The first time with Greg O'Shea, the second with Jack Patel, and now with his current co-skipper, Corentin Dujouet. He's also won on line honours, and the pair will likely take out IRC Division 4 to boot. Just getting the main off the lock now. Look at the crowd at Constitution Dock too, cheering these rock stars. So much respect for the double-handers. We had 23 double-handers start this race. Nine double-handed teams retired out of that 23. And this is the first in, so there's still 13 at sea. So your runway runs out fairly quickly when there's only two of you. They'll get there though. Great job. Probably go for a circle here. We'll just hang out and look at the beautiful Constitution Dock. Look at these people. So good. It was amazing how many people were out to welcome the Line Honours winner just a few days ago. Was that yesterday? Just one day ago. It feels like 3 days. How pretty is Hobart when it's sunny? These flags. Oh, there's Helsel. Another Helsel. Can hear music in the village. So lovely. Oh, look at that flake they've done on that mainsail. Great job. Speediest flake that I've seen, and it's a double-handed team. Epic work. See if you can make this swing too. Wow. Now that's talent. Looks like he's got a bow thruster. Reversing! That is seriously the tidiest flake I've seen. Besides the one with the lazy jacks on Ocean Crusaders. And that's cheating. But it was actually amazing. It made me want lazy jacks. See, there's a little extra bowsprit out there. Little batten. Coming. You ready now? Hey, no? That would be ideal. Hang on, I'll just get myself into position for you, Roop. Lovely to watch you guys come in though, let me tell you. Alright. Now I've got to position myself, team. Here we go. I think it'll be this one. Oh, guys.
Wowee.
Wowee indeed. I bet you're exhausted.
3 days, 6 hours.
Great job.
That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, really? You
Same time as 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I was literally just saying it felt like deja vu, honestly. So similar, but I mean, you've now won 3, in my mind, you've won 3 IRC, and there's only been 3 IRCs
Yep.
in the double-handed, which is pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
Isn't that
thanks.
amazing? 3 different co-skippers. So nice to meet you.
Yes.
Well sailed.
Tandugo.
Yeah.
My friend, I mean, it's nice to sail with Tan again. Our class stuff earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Which I think was a big part of our success.
Yeah.
The communication, he's naturally a French speaker, I'm an Australian speaker. So it was lucky we had a chance to work on that when we were in Brittany together. And then the race was like lots of wind from everywhere. It's like non-stop. The decks was just a wet race until Cape Rao.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was relentless. We had a good plan though. I mean, we put a lot of work into the pre-race navigation and strategy, and it was more or less, the coast of Tasmania was actually probably better than we thought. There was a chance everyone would park up for a long time. That didn't happen. We parked for 2 hours, and we had a good gap on the next double-handed, like 70 miles, and that let them close right up. So that was nerve-wracking. But it looks like we stretched out again this afternoon.
Definitely have, and you're in a good spot in IRC Division 4, same as last year.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it feels like you've done the treble again, which is pretty nice.
I think that'll do me.
Yeah, I think so.
Might buy a boat for more people now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh golly gosh. Well, I think we'll let you head in, Rupert, but well done.
Thanks.
Well
Do you want to
done.
say some messages?
Thanks.
It's co-skipper.
Co-skipper Corentin Duguay.
Exactement.
Lovely
Yes,
to meet you.
I'm really happy to be here. My first time in Australia and in Tasmania, and a wonderful race with Rupert, so everything is perfect.
Lovely to have you here, and very well sailed. It was beautiful to watch you sailing up the Derwent, even though that was probably your nicest sailing.
Oh, the flat water was a paradise. I mean, it was quite rough.
Yeah.
And I get so tired. This boat is quite joggly, as you say, which is a good sign for speed, but for comfort, you just get so exhausted. It's like, I need to lie down for 3 days.
Yeah. It's dinghy sailing. You know?
It's like dinghy sailing, yeah. Exactly.
100%. Well sailed to you guys. We'll let you get in. I'm sure there's heaps of people who want to talk to you and welcome you to Hobart.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Right.
Thank you.
Beautifully sailed.
Nice to see you.
Bye guys.
Thank you.
Well done. Nice to meet you. Amazing work there. We're going to wrap this up here. That is your double-handed line honours winner. Oh, Mistral. Beautiful sailing. Also current leaders in IRC Div 4, leaders in IRC 3. Kokodi, also a French team, now on the dock, JPK 1180. IRC Div 2 looks like it'll go to Hobart, the Caprice 40 that we finished with earlier. And then, of course, Div 1, Caro, the Boaton 52. Div 0, Celestial V70, which has today been provisionally named the winner of the 79th Rolex Sydney Hobart. Plenty more to come though. Stay tuned to Sailor Girl HQ.